Hey, the greatest gift that anyone with ambition can get is to be addicted to doing things they hate. Yeah, it sounds weird, but I'm talking real serious things you absolutely hate doing because there's a reason why these things are buried to the success you want. Like the way I look at it, if I want to have something cool take place in my life later on, I gotta find a way to do something I hate doing for a longer period of time than somebody else who also hates doing it. Because eventually what happens is this thing that's hard to do becomes not so hard to do, and you over time get so efficient at it and so smooth at it that it becomes effortless effort, which means you'll do it to have success, but everybody else will stop doing it. And that's the big key. It's not about are you smarter, are you better? No, it's can you do the things everyone else hates to do for longer than they hate to do it. And if you can find the secret within that, man, you'll be able to unpack so much more success, because what's harder isn't going to be that much harder. You get to access much more success, have greater things in life. And for me, I know the person that loves to climb the mountain, we'll call it, will actually climb more mountains than a person who only loves the peak. It's that journey of finding out, how do I fall in love with the process of doing things every day, day in, day out, building towards something, whether it's setting a schedule, setting a structure, adhering to a specific regimen you set for yourself, being disciplined to something, right? If you don't do that, you don't get to have the backside. You can't do it for a day, a week, a month, 2 months and expect to get the outcome. It's not how it works. It never has. Now, whether or not you do it is up to you. Whether or not you have success is up to the way the world works. So you have to start thinking about, how can I pull myself back today? I'm going to talk to you about how I tricked my brain really into doing hard things and enjoying hard things, because that's something that's unique about me, man. I like the hard stuff. There's something to it, something that I think gives me pride and a little bit more of a feeling of an edge on other people who won't do the hard things. And this is everybody that's successful, by the way. Those that are able to do the harder things find a lot more success on the backside because of a lot of things we'll talk about today. But to be honest, let's just talk about this. Let's dig into this. There's 8 things to look at that really come from me when I was a kid, learn this lesson to begin with. At 15 years old, I wanted to play football, but I was horrible at the game of football. Maybe you have tried something, you got into it, you're like, I'm gonna be great at this thing, and you got in, and all of a sudden you realize you suck at doing this thing. It's a normal part of humanity. It's a normal part of us because we've never done this. So why would you assume you'd be great at this, right? It's just logic would tell you that, but a lot of us go, no, I want to be great now. This whole idea of immediate gratification, that's not how any of this stuff works. So getting yourself to pull back a little bit and going, all right, I'm gonna lean into this. I'm gonna do a little bit more. I'm gonna push myself harder. It gives you that separation. For me at 15, I went from being a sucky football player to being a guy that a year later was moved up to varsity as a sophomore. I got to play at a higher level. Ended up getting a college scholarship to play football at the University of Oregon and play the NFL. All these interesting things, right? But it's all tied to the same things that took place way back then. So the first step of this is you need to get to the point of reframing your mindset. Genuine reframe. Now, it doesn't mean that you talk about shifting it just yet, which is a part of what will take place over time, but I mean reframing the way that you see things, the way you function, the way you operate. Mostly because our biggest issue is not so much what we see in front of us, but how we see what's in front of us. The framing of it, the perspective of it, what you see as the problem. Because we could have a thing where like there's this problem in the middle of the table, and maybe that problem is, you know what, we're not getting growth finance in a company. And you can go ahead and say in one mindset, if your framing of the mindset is, well, the employees suck. I can't get my employees to do anything. They're not motivated. They don't do very much, right? That mindset will make you get frustrated. You'll have resentment. You'll have anger. And you'll cause problems between you and your team because the mindset you have is it's the team's fault. But what if you reframe that mindset? What if you go, you know what? It's the way I run the team, the way I lead the team. I need to work on my mindset to get the team to adjust differently. I need to get them to respond to me differently. So my mindset in a reframe goes, it's on me to get better. So that simple reframe allows you to push forward and not get stuck in certain places where a lot of people will get stuck because they don't focus on the actual mindset issue. So I tricked my brain to do the hard thing and go, you know what? You can take control of this. Now, if you can learn to take control of it yourself and you can own this a little bit more, it becomes a little bit easier. It becomes a little bit smoother. It becomes something where I can actually go, you know what? I've learned to do this harder thing that everybody won't do. So it's easier to me. And now I can reframe my mindset, take ownership earlier and do more to actually fix things, adjust things, and take my life into my own control. Most people will not do this. The second step of this process is to get to the point of breaking down tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. I'm big on this because if I'm going to trick my brain to doing different things that are hard, I've got to break it down to manageable. What do they say? The whole statement is, what's the best way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's it. One bite at a time. I don't care how big it is. When you attack a single part of something, it makes it easier. So if you chunk it down to individual tasks, it's like saying, do I want to take on an army or a soldier? Right? I want to take on a single soldier. I don't want to take an entire army. It's too much. But if I can pull myself back and I'm going to focus on the individual piece of all this to smaller, manageable chunks, I tricked my brain into doing this big, hard thing because it's not a big, hard thing now. It's a singular focused thing. So make sure you pull yourself back and let me break it down. Then focus on the process, not just the outcome. Now, I want to stay with this one for a second. See, for all of us, we're really focused on the outcome. I mean, this is something you've heard before many, many times. And what happens when you're focused on the outcome, you rush through the process. You rush to find what's the fastest way to get the process done. And then you don't find effectiveness or efficiency because your only focus is on how do I get this thing to be done the fastest to get what I want. hard to get to this end result, which obviously there's a value in shortcutting something. So don't let me, take that from you. There's a value in having something that's faster, but you don't understand how to make something more efficient or more effective until you've done it the hard way. And once you've done it the hard way, you find the nuances of where you can make tweaks to make it go faster. But we're always looking in the beginning at just the outcome, so we don't focus on how do I go through the process, and in doing that, refine the process. So then, yes, I can go faster and get to my outcome. It's a focus, which when you focus on something, it allows you to find out how to manipulate it in the right ways, how to adjust it in the right ways. But if you're never focused on it, if you just look at one way of doing something and don't focus, you never find a way to pull that puzzle apart and find out how to reconstruct and reconfigure it to make it move smoother. It's like there's a whole story, I think I read a book years ago, it talks about how there was this inefficient process at this plant and they were taking forever to get things out. It would take 48 hours to get something done, and the guy comes in and he went and watched everybody do their job, and he found out there was one little spot within this whole area of this company that if you could have tweaked that, it increased production. I can't recall exactly what it was, but it was like, have this person just click that button instead, or have this person now do this. It was one simple thing. It was like a bogging of the whole process down, and they go, oh, okay, and they fixed it and increased production by 4 times, right? Everything was much faster, as opposed to they could have went out there and started yelling at people, go faster, go faster. The focus was on the outcome. It'd be all crazy yelling at people. They'd quit. You'd have everything fall apart. But focusing on the process allowed the person to refine the process, fix it, and then things went smoother. The idea is to focus on process, not just the outcome, because it allows you to improve the process so the outcome in time does come faster. Then celebrate very small victories. The brain, man, it's just one thing when it needs that little push. It needs little dumps. It needs to feel good about itself. And when you can do the small things and move yourself in the direction and give yourself the little hits of positivity, your brain goes, I like this. So you're tricking it to do all these hard things because now at a certain point in time, it likes the nuance of the journey. It enjoys the feeling of a good workout. It enjoys the feeling of a good pat in the back. It enjoys the feeling of a checklist done. The little thing to stop and create the small victory for yourself and really feel good about that's a game changer. It actually allows people to continue on. If you don't give any praise to yourself and it's just all drudgery, after a while it becomes this thing where I go, I don't even feel like doing this anymore. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't even want to pay attention to this. Moving on to the next thing. So you actually step out of the area of doing the hard thing because it's just overly hard for you. It's great books on this. Look up Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. Talks about how the mentality of this works. Atomic Habits, James Clear. Some great books that talk about the concepts around how to make it enjoyable for your brain so you continue to keep doing this thing that's very difficult, right? Next part of this is surround yourself with supportive people. Supportive people for me, man, they're like the secret sauce to all this. See, when I'm looking at doing hard things, it's usually comparatively to me how hard it is. But if I look at somebody else who I admire doing it and they go, hey, not that hard, man, you could do this, I push more because I desire to be at a higher level. So I look at people and go, if I want to be at that person's level, how do they frame and perceive this problem? And if they're like, dude, what are you still struggling with that for? Then I realize, oh, this is easy for them. If I want to level up, I got to be around them. I got to actually move faster. I got to do things differently. That's for them as a framing aspect. And I look at the frame and go, oh, I didn't even think that it was an easy thing. Let me navigate this. So they pull you to a higher level. Also, these people allow you to figure out how to actually do things faster, effectively. They'll teach you the little thing you can do to navigate that better than you ever navigated it before, right? So you got to step into the world and go, I'm going to ask these people questions that allow me to move things a little bit faster so I can go to a higher tick, a higher tier, a higher impact. So start surrounding yourself with more successful people. Then visualize your success. See it in your brain. You should not experience something for the first time and that be the first time you've ever been there. Your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and perception. And what happens is our brains, they don't have this attachment to some end result to do something hard. But if you can attach to it in a space that goes, look, I'm looking at this and I'm going, I'm really feeling good about this view and this vision. I'm going to work towards it. Well, this vision makes something you can taste. When this vision is something you can taste, you'll work subconsciously towards it. So visualizing where you'll be, what you'll do, how things will come to pass, that visualization is a powerful tool. So you need to start spending more time visualizing what it'll look like on the backside so you start working towards it consciously and unconsciously. The choices, the thoughts, the way you function will allow you to move a little closer to it, day by day, minute by minute, in ways you don't even notice overall. So visualizing is big. Next, create a reward system. Something that not just a matter of celebrating small victories, but what do you give yourself? Like I, for sure, have a system where if I miss a workout, I don't get to watch my favorite shows. So I have it like, you got to get the workout if you want to get your show done, Ant. So I'll go, okay, I'm going to watch that show. Let me go ahead and get this workout. That's how it works for me. These little reward systems, just for me, but it allows me to move farther ahead. So that little nuance, a little tweak, that little piece of it makes it so much more powerful to move forward. So have a reward system where you give yourself something for the hard work you actually do, because it makes the hard work mean something overall. And the last piece of it is focus on what you can control. See, doing hard things is interesting because we think it's going to be the hard that we want to do. It is not always the hard that we want to do. It's the hard that the dream demands of us. And sometimes that hard is going to be the thing outside of our control. So we have to focus on what we can control, which may be our response, may mean our effort, our focus on something. But you must step into yourself and go, where can I control something, and where can I focus solely on the control of that thing? And the more you focus on, the more you control this little piece here, the better things get. So focus more on what you can control in this whole process. And when this becomes a process of how you show up in life, you'll find that you'll trick your brain amazingly into doing hard things. That's it. Go watch this one right there. Watch that video. Go check it out. As always, make sure you do the dark work to make shift happen.